everyone, it's Nikki Ram. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I have posted a new video. So I know, sorry about that. I know it has been a really long time, but today I'm back with another video. But before we do that, let me just tell you guys that there are a couple accounts of the same accounts called Nikki Ram when you search my name up. And that is because I've created so many accounts because there was a glitch where the subscribers count, like every time there were new subscribers that I was gaining to my channel, it wouldn't change and would just go back to no subscribers at all. So it kept saying that. I had to create a few different accounts for it to not say that. Okay, one sec, guys. Whoop. We're gonna do this, yeah, for it to not say that. So that's why I was kind of experimenting with it, but this is the actual channel where I'm going to be uploading it. Everything else are going to be deleted very soon. So that was just a little announcement that I had. But today's video is going to be a little bit different because this video is going to be about something that I'm really interested in. The pandemic, through the pandemic, a lot of people have developed new interests, and I'm one of those people. And that interest is, drum roll please, Mahabharatham. So I loved to learn about Mahabharatham throughout the whole pandemic. I was watching some series. I was reading, researching a lot. This is just, I made up a presentation actually, and of what I learned, what I researched. So I'm really happy. I'm really proud to say that I did learn Mahabharatham. I loved learning about Hindu mythology in general, but it's just one of my interests. So I have a presentation I made for the channel so that I can showcase it. Let me just hold on. Yep. Okay. So here it is. Let me just share it. I'm going to, yeah. Okay. Here is the presentation, Mahabharatham. I'm super excited to tell you guys what I learned. So let's get started. So the Mahabharatam was written by Veda Vyasa. He's the author of it, and a lot of other versions say that he wrote it with Lord Ganesha. And so say the Sage Veda Vyasa was born to Satyavati and Sage Parashara. If you guys don't know who Satyavati is, or if you don't know anything about the Mahabharatam, Satyavati will make a big impact, or an impact later in the Mahabharatam. So when did the Mahabharatam happen, you ask? It happened in the date 400 CE, or also known as 3137 BC. If those numbers seem confusing to you, it started at the beginning of Kali Yuga. If you don't know what a yuga is, there are 4 yugas. They're basically time frames that the world is split into. There are 4, as I mentioned. Krita is the first one, Treta is the second one, Dwapara is the third one, and Kali is the 4th one. And we are right now currently in the Kali Yuga, and the Mahabharata happened in the Kali Yuga as well. The order that I just said them, and they're listed from Krita to Kali, are the biggest to smallest, or biggest to smallest, whichever that works out. So for example, there are 1,728,000 years in Krita, and that's the time frame that has the most, and 432,000 years in Kali, and that has the least. So basically, if you're asking, Nikita, what do you mean? What do these years represent? What do Krita and Kali even mean? What I mean by that is after the 432,000 years in Kali Yuga end, so does the world. Basically, the end of Kali Yuga is the end of the world. So we still have a long way till that happens. A very long way, but that's just what it's known as. And yeah, Kali Yuga started in 3102 BC, and Mahabharata started 3137. So very beginning of the Kali Yuga. we're going to get into the actual Mahabharatam now, starting with Shantanu. He was he's not the father of the whole Mahabharatam. King Kuru is. Shantanu is King Kuru's son. And Shantanu married his first wife, which is a water god, the water god. Excuse me, sorry about that. Her name is Ganga. So basically, one day, Shantanu saw Ganga on the riverbanks, and he fell in love with her immediately. And he asked if she could marry him. She said okay on the condition that that he cannot ask any questions about any of her actions that she does. And he agreed. And so they got married. And they had a beautiful baby. And what Ganga did was, after a few days, maybe 2 or 3 days after the baby was born, she went to the river and drowned the baby. And then, but Shantanu did not ask anything or why she did that, because she said that if he did ask her, she'll leave him. So then they had a second baby, and then again, Ganga drowned the second baby as well. Then Shantanu still didn't ask why she was doing this. This happened to several babies, 7 babies to be exact. And then they had an 8th baby, and just as she was about to drown the 8th baby, Shantanu couldn't resist it anymore. He just told her to stop. And he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you drowning our kids? What is wrong with you?" And then she explains about the curse of Ganga and Mahabhisha. And I'm going to upload or pull that up here in a different thing. Sorry about that. Okay, I just did this because yeah, long story. I just hyperlinked it to a Jamboard. But basically, there was a lot of people in Indra's court once. Biggest kings, gods, other gods were invited to Indra's court, and Ganga was there too. And this was actually in Mahabhisha. It says Curse of Ganga and Mahabhisha, and Mahabhisha was there too. Mahabhisha is basically Shantanu in his previous generation. So yeah, basically Shantanu was a king called Mahabhisha in his previous generation, and they were all invited there, and they're all sitting down, and suddenly there was a great gush of wind that blew in the court, and that revealed Ganga's body. It moved her sari, and then everybody bent down in shame, but Mahabhisha was the only one staring at her. And sorry about that. Ganga was the only Mahabhisha was the only one staring at Ganga, and everyone, no one else looked at her, and then she didn't move her sari either. So then Indra got mad, and he's like, he cursed the both of them. He said that the first 8 babies born to Ganga and Mahabhisha will be, or sorry, the first 8 babies born to Ganga and Mahabhisha will be born as humans, because being born as us humans is a curse. And leave a little discussion in the comments below if you think being immortal is a good thing or being mortal is a good thing. But back to the thing, he said that the first 8 babies born to them will be born as humans, and they will, be mortal. But Ganga and Mahabhisha pleaded Indra, and they consoled him, and he kind of lightened the curse a little bit. And then he said, fine, they will only be humans on the first year that they are born. But Ganga freed the first 7 babies from that curse by just drowning them. But she didn't do that to the 8th baby, because Shantanu stopped her, and she said that she's going to train the 8th baby and bring him up really well, and yeah, so that's the 8th baby is called Bhishma. Bhishma is the 8th baby born to Shantanu and Ganga, and yeah, so we can go back to our slide. So yeah, she takes him to train him in his court. Like I said, Shantanu, remember, stopped her, asked about her actions, so she was going to leave him, but she's taking Bhishma with her as well. because you know, she's going to train him. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay. So this is some pictures. This is when Ganga was drowning her babies. This is the 8th baby, which is Bhishma, and Shantanu is in the background trying to stop her. This is when the picture, she brings back Bhishma after training him. I believe he was 20 years. I'm not exactly sure about that. Leave a comment in the comments below about that too. I believe he was 20. I'm not sure. All right, Satyavati. So we mentioned earlier in the presentation that she was this mother of Veda Vyasa. But right now we're going to go look into a different perspective of her life. So Satyavati was a fisherman's daughter, and after Ganga left Shantanu was basically lonely or alone. So he met Satyavati and they were both in love. So Shantanu wanted to marry Satyavati, but she said okay on one condition. Here we go. Shantanu's wives have so many conditions. But she told Shantanu that she didn't want marriage. First, she said she didn't want marriage because of Bhishma. Now, Bhishma is already 20 years old when Shantanu and Satyavati were in love. So this is when he came back. And Satyavati said she didn't want to marry Shantanu because the son born to Satyavati and Shantanu won't be able to be king, because Bhishma is the oldest son of Shantanu. Therefore, he gets the kingdom, or the throne. So she didn't want to marry him, but Shantanu was just like, you know what? Bhishma's my first son. I'm not going to just do that to Bhishma. He's my son. I'm going to. It's you know what? It's fine if you don't want to marry me. Bhishma is more important to me. So he went to the palace that day, but Bhishma saw that he was very sad. Then Bhishma went to Satyavati the next day, and he's just like, marry my father. He's really upset that he couldn't marry you. He tried to convince her, but he's like, no, if I marry him, the child born to me will not be able to rule the kingdom. And then Bhishma's like, okay, fine. He took an oath. He took an oath as his mother, Ganga, as a witness. He said that he will not have a family, he will never marry, he will never do anything, and he will always be a kind of like a, excuse me, sorry about that. He will always be a savior and a kind of like a little servant to whoever is serving or is on the throne. So that was why Bhishma took the oath, and because he took that oath, Satyavati agreed. Shantanu wasn't happy with it at first, but nothing could be done. So Bhishma took the oath. Shantanu and Satyavati got married. Shantanu gave Bhishma, though, a little a power, kind of like, he's like, okay, you did all this for me. I give you a boon, that you can choose whenever you want to die. Until you choose whenever you want to die, you are immortal. So he said that, and so he gave that boon to Bhishma. So basically, that's why Satyavati is like the mother of the whole generation after that, because Ganga technically isn't, because Bhishma's didn't have a family after that. Because of Satyavati's son, the whole generation dynasty started. We'll get on with that right now. So we're going to skip this slide a little bit. We're going to go to Vichitravirya. So Vichitravirya, who's Vichitravirya? He is Satyavati's son, born to Shanthanu and Satyavati. He had 2 wives, Ambika and Ambalika, and he died of a sickness very soon after he married them. But Ambika and Ambalika were sisters, but they had another sister, and we're going to go back to the slide, and her name was Amba. So basically, Ambika and Ambalika's and Amba's father set up a Suyamvara for the three of these ladies. And all the kings and princes all came to the Suyamvara to wanting to marry the three of these girls. But little did anyone know that Amba or Ambe was secretly in love with someone else. And he was also at the Suyamvara as well. He was ready to win him by and everything. And then suddenly Bhishma came. I mentioned earlier that Vichitravirya died of a sickness, and that's why nobody wanted to marry him, because he was very weak. He was a great king, but he was also very weak. He was very sick. So no one wanted to marry him. So Bhishma, though, oh my goodness, I just noticed I spelled Bhishma wrong. Huh? I spelled Bhisma. No, sorry about that. It's Bhishma. But what Bhishma did was he kidnapped the three of these ladies, Ambai, Ambika, and Ambalika, and he kidnapped the three of them and took them back to Astinapuram. Goodness gracious, I almost forgot the name. So Astinapuram. And Ambai was kind of mad after she knew that she was going to marry Vichitravirya. She told Bhishma, you are the one that kidnapped the three of us, therefore you should be the one that marries the three of us. He's like, no, I do not want to marry you. You have to marry my brother Vichitravirya. Ambai did not agree with that. She's like, I do not want to marry him. You have to marry me, or you have to take me back. So then Bhishma's like, fine, I'll take you back. And he took her back. But the person that Ambai was in love with before did not want to marry her anymore, because she got kidnapped by Bhishma, and that therefore he did not want to marry her. This upset Ambai, and she came back to Bhishma and she told him again, you have to marry me because you're the one that kidnapped me. No one else wants to marry me now. And then he's like, no, I'm not going to marry you. So then Ambai was kind of this is when she was talking to Bhishma. Those are her sisters, Vichitravirya and Satyavati. So she took she was now then praying on Lord Shiva for a really long time against very, very in a dense forest. It was very torturous. And so very torturous few years, and then Shiva appeared upon her, and she told him all that happened to her about Bhishma and everything. She's like, I want to be able to kill Bhishma with my own hands. And then Shiva's like, yes, you can kill him, but you cannot do it in this birth. You cannot do it in this generation. You can't do it in this life. You'll be able to kill him in the next life that you take in. Ambai was like, okay, fine, thank you. But she did not want to wait till she got old and she died. She wanted to kill him as fast as she could. Therefore, she died on purpose. She killed herself by walking through fire, and she killed herself just so that she can be born in the next generation and kill Bhishma. So that's what happened to Ambai. So then Vichitravirya died. Ambika and Ambalika didn't have any children after that. So that's where we're going to start the next time. What happened? How did Ambika and Ambalika have children? Here's a little glimpse of what is going to happen. Satyavati called Vyasa. That's all she did. After she did was Satyavati called her other son Vyasa. And then after that, I'm going to tell you what happens next in the next video. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe, please, if you haven't already. Share and comment down below if you think the world should be mortal or immortal. Should we die, or should we have the power to never die? Mortal or immortal? Please leave it in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Toodles.